Good morning. I don't know what lockdown or staying at home looks like for you, but I'd just like to share a little bit of our experiences here in the Scollen household. For us, it's pretty busy. I'm very thankful that Isabel and I have both continued to work, but that has made things quite interesting and quite challenging for us at home. We're juggling with homeschooling, conference calls, making meals, doing the shopping, treading on each other's toes really as we try to find a spot to play some music or to study, to make a conference call, to watch some TV or to join a YouTube fitness class. It would be easy to see some of these things as annoyances, as irritations, things that get in the way of what I want to do, the things that I need to do. I'd like to read for you from Psalm 133. And this is from the New Living Translation. How wonderful it is, how pleasant, when brothers live together in harmony. Some translations would say when brethren live together in harmony or in unity, or when God's people dwell together in unity. For harmony is as precious as the fragrant anointing oil that was poured over Aaron's head, that ran down his beard and onto the border of his robe. Harmony is as refreshing as the dew from Mount Hermon that falls on the mountains of Zion. And the Lord has pronounced his blessing, even life forevermore. You can see why I like this psalm, can't you? It's got my name in it, so it's always makes me smile when I read this. What I find really interesting about this psalm, it's talking about this dwelling together in unity, in harmony, being together as God's people, as brethren or as brothers. And when it goes on to talk about the harmony is as precious as the fragrant anointing oil that was poured over Aaron's head. So Aaron was the first high priest of Israel, and the priests had to be anointed with this precious oil to consecrate them really for work in the tabernacle, for work in the temple. And this anointing oil, it took a lot of effort to prepare. It was made up of different spices, so myrrh and cassia and cinnamon, huge quantities that were mixed with olive oil, and it would take effort to prepare. It would take work, and it was costly, and it would be mixed, and then it would be poured over the priests' heads. And I love that figure of the oil being poured out abundantly and just coming. I don't know if you've ever had oil poured on your head or poured anywhere, but it just gets everywhere. It absolutely soaks, and it just seems to go on forever. So I can just imagine that picture of this oil just pouring down onto Aaron's beard and dripping onto his clothing. And that preparation that goes into that anointed oil, that's the comparison that's given here. For harmony is as precious as the fragrant anointing oil that was poured. So that harmony, it's got a cost to it. It takes preparation. It's not something that just happens naturally. And so when we're locked away in our homes, when we're locked either alone with family members, it takes effort to work for that harmony. It takes efforts to work for that unity. It takes preparation, and it can be costly. We need to make time for it. We need to go beyond ourselves, and that could mean a phone call. It could mean joining an online meeting. It could mean sitting down together with your family. It could mean pressing that pause button on all of those important activities that you need to do just to take a time out, and it's costly. I'd just like to share with you something that we've been doing in the past few weeks. So prior to the lockdown, what would typically happen is I'd be out of the door at 6 a.m. I would go and catch my train, and I'd have breakfast on the train. spend my day at work, and then on my commute home I'd have a bit of what I call cave time. So on my way home I'd be listening to a podcast, I'd watch some Netflix, I'd be reading a book, and then get home about maybe 6:30 in the evening and have the evening whatever we're doing, have a meal together, have dinner with the family, and then whatever church activities or other activities that we might have planned. I would never have the opportunity to sit down for breakfast with the family. For the past few weeks, this is something that we've been doing. We've got our breakfast table all set up there. It takes effort. We set the table up the night before, and then we've got to get everybody out of bed and around the table. But it's just such a precious time having this breakfast time together every day, and it's been something that is it's like a milestone. I want it to be something that we remember in the future. So how are we going to look back on this time of lockdown, of the coronavirus? I want to be able to look back on this time as a milestone in my life and in my family's life and in the lives of those in the church and those beyond. That a milestone in a good way. That it would be looked upon as being a time of the greatest unity between family and friends and church. That it would be a time that we look back, and my kids would look back on it and tell their kids about the great lockdown of 2020, and that it would be a good testimony, that there'll be good things to say about it. There's tragedy, there are people being lost, but what's going to be the lasting legacy of this time? Is it going to be one of loss, or is it going to be one of life? And I'd just like to finish up with looking at the very last verse in Psalm 133. And the Lord has pronounced his blessing, even life forevermore. So what's your testimony going to be of this time? I would like mine to be that it's of life forevermore. God bless you. Have a wonderful day.